New York, and there's no place they'd rather be. An amazing 22-4 at Citi Field since April 2012, outscoring the home team 115-53. Doug Fister goes for his 12th win in 17 starts and his second in a week against the Mets. Cloudy all day in New York City. Some rain recently. There's already been one game washed out on the East Coast down in Baltimore. Hoping for the best, and so are they. We've got some curly W's and some Nats fans cheering on the boys. Day off yesterday. They gained a half game as the Braves were beaten, and so it's a 4-game lead coming into the series. Bob and FP, welcome to New York. Doug Fister's been outstanding this year. The winning percentage up there among the best in the league, and it's just a joy to watch this guy go every 5 days.
It is. I mean, slowly establishing himself as the ace of the staff. And when you talk about Doug Fister and what he's done in 24 starts career versus the National League, he has a 13-5 record with a 2.07 ERA, and he's allowed just 8 home runs. It's because of what you're seeing right there. He keeps the ball down. He attacks the strike zone. He throws any pitch in any count, and look at the company he's with.
Yeah, Doug Fister, 16 starts. The guy's won 12 of those, and so he's up there with the best in baseball. You know, and you can talk ERA, you can talk strikeouts and all the other stats that are out there, but it's all about winning, and that's what Doug Fister does. It's great now to welcome a 5-tool rookie to the major leagues. Michael Taylor's in the lineup tonight. He makes his debut. Saw him a little bit in spring training. Can't wait to see him.
Well, when you talk about Michael Taylor, the names Devon White, Adam Jones, and Mike Cameron come to mind when you talk about comparisons. The guy's effortless on defense. He glides to the ball. His first step quickness is as good as anybody. And in 2011, 2012, and 2013, he was the best outfielder defensively in the Nats organization, and that's when he converted from shortstop in 2010. So excited to watch him throw an above-average arm with accuracy. He throws guys out, and he's got all kinds of pop. Strike zone discipline is the only challenge. He's a very aggressive hitter, but we're excited to see him play.
6th-rounder back in 09 and a 5-tool player. Jacob deGrom goes on the DL. The Mets start a young starter tonight in Rafael Montero, 23 years of age, his 5th time out in the major leagues.
Well, since we're comparing guys to other guys, he reminds me a lot of Ramon Martinez when you see his long arm action. A guy that is a lot like Julio Teheran, too, from Atlanta. Got a good fastball. It's got some sink to it. He's a strike thrower. Hasn't really done it at the major league level yet, but he keeps the ball down, and it's going to be a good test for the Nats tonight, and we'll see how they do.
Looking for his first big league win. He'll have to take on Bryce Harper and the Nats. Bryce, the heroic swing to the opposite field that took care of business at home last week in the day game. The Nats have the whammy on the Mets. 7 out of 9 this year. Swept here back in April. You'll see some highlights from that coming up. Here go the Nats, and here come the Mets in Citi Field again. If I was going on the road to watch the Nats because they've been so good here in New York, 18 of 21 against the Mets over the last couple of years and 22 of the last 26. So this season, it's a 7-2 lead in the season series for the Nationals. Swept here to start the season, 12 out of 14 going back to last year, and that's 8 in a row here at Citi Field. And the Mets have been dominated by the Nats unlike anybody else. And FP, it's been a long time. 4 months ago when we opened up here, let's go back and have a look.
Opening day, how great was that in the Big Apple? And after being behind 3-0, they came back and won it 9-7 in a slugfest here at Citi Field. But when you look at the series as we watched Gio go deep on April 2nd, Washington's won 13 of the last 16 one-run games, so they haven't been all blowouts. It's not as dominant as it looks on paper. There's been a lot of close games in this series, and the Nats are going to try to stay on top here once again in New York.
And Gio took care with the bat and then the arm, and then as the Nats got ready to come home, Denard Span got a base hit to right. Sandy Leon sliding in. Jason Worth would do some oppo damage as well.
And they just play good baseball against the Mets. And you talk about maybe it being some sort of psychological thing. I don't think so. I just think over the last 3 years, the Nats have been a much better team than the New York Mets. It's just that simple.
Saw Keith Hernandez a little while ago. He said, "What's Adam LaRoche hitting against us this year?" I said, "Well, he's 9 for 23 with 9 RBIs. So try to get him out, Mets, if you can." Rafael Montero, young rookie pitcher, on a night when there's wind blowing, there's rain up and down the East Coast. Hopefully a big enough window for the Nats to try to make it 9 in a row at Citi Field. Hey, the Braves are playing the Dodgers. Nats against the Mets. Ground to be gained this week. By PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by visitannapolis.org. Find it here. And if you hit a ball in front of the plate somewhere, Doug Fister's going to find a way to make the defensive play and get you out. Right now, it's a very comfortable, slightly muggy evening in Queens, Flushing, actually, New York. We invite you to visit trainsearch.com. Find your local train comfort specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train really hard. So the humidity almost as high as the temperature, but a very comfortable 77. The Nats are 8th in the league in batting average, 5th in runs, 6th in home runs. Michael Taylor combined in only 4 games at Syracuse. Over 20 homers, over 63 RBIs, 20 doubles. He stole 35 bases, and all that production in 102 games, and he makes his major league debut in a town with the biggest stage. And here we go with Rafael Montero.
Yeah, fastball 92, slider 82, changeup 86. Made his big league debut this year against the Yankees on May 14th. Gave up 3 runs over 6 innings. Overall, he's 0-2 with a 5.40. 12 earned runs in 20 innings. 17 strikeouts, 11 walks. He'll remind you a lot of Julio Teheran from the Braves and a little bit of Ramon Martinez, Pedro's big brother, with his delivery, his arm slot, and the way he slings it in. Their 3/4 release. Had good command in the minor leagues, not so much yet in the big leagues.
Right on time at 7:10. Fastball tails to the outside corner. We'll set the umpiring crew for you in a moment. Denard Span, 3rd in the league in hits. He's working on a 14-game hitting streak. And the numbers are just staggering for what he's doing right now. That's inside. So during the streak, 24 for 58. 36 consecutive games on base, 1 short of the major league high this year. And his batting average at .306 is in the top 6. A rare swing and a miss. 16th year in the big leagues for the home plate umpire, Tony Randazzo. The crew chief's out at second base tonight, Brian Gorman, 23rd year. Jim Wolf at 3rd, 13th year, and rookie umpire Stu Sherwater as first base. .94, cutting inside, 2-2.
Since June 28th, Denard Span has gone 55 for 140. That's a .396 clip.
Impressive, and that's over an extended period of time, not just a couple of weeks. Here we are on August the 12th, and he's just one of the best hitters in the game right now. And that's going to be a fastball, 95. Right down the middle. Denard doesn't strike out a lot. That's only 48 times all year in 448 at bats.
So the defense for the Mets tonight here at Citi Field: Dendecker, Lagares, Granderson the outfield, Flores right, the left side, Murphy Duda the right side, and Travis d'Arnaud behind the dish.
Look out for David Wright on the other side of the ball. Right now he's in his 4th hitting streak this year of 10 games or more. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera hitting second for the Nats, and 7 hits in 8 games with the ball club. But in his last 5 games, 5 hits, 4 walks, and make it 6 hits. He's going to drop one down the right field line. He might be thinking 3. Granderson, long way to go. Cabrera picks up Bob Henley and stays at second.
Well, I think for the first time as a National, Asdrubal Cabrera gets the honor of there goes the no-hitter. Little double down the right field line, and you're wondering, would this kick around long enough for him to get to third? But it kind of stays in there. Granderson does a nice job of digging it out, getting it in quick. So the first of the night for the Nats is a double off the bat of Cabrera. 23rd of the year.
Yeah, he's 8 for 31 now as a National. Batting average on the rise.
I'll tell you what, Carp, I'm shocked we're playing this game. I've been on like all 4 of my weather apps all day on my phone. I have no batteries on my cell. I just thought there was a monsoon and a I don't know, an all-night rain heading this way, but it's kind of slid to the east.
But look at those skies to the south of us.
We're playing. I told everybody we weren't going to play tonight. So I'm on the bootleg weather team now.
Oh,
nice to join you.
You've been there before. You have a short memory. That's all right. Pretty close. And 2-0 to Anthony Rendon, who steps in 7th in the league in doubles, 6th in extra base hits, and 1st in runs scored. He's also broken into the top 10 now in RBIs with 65. So Desmond and Rendon among the top 10 run producers in the league. And he'll take a fastball in there.
Now, first time you face a new guy, you're trying to pick up the release point. I think that might be the tricky thing with Montero right now. That little 3/4 sling thing he's got going right now. You know, doing your homework. You can watch all the video you want, but so you get in that box and actually see the window he's throwing out of, kind of gauge the release point and the movement on his pitches. And you want to feed that computer first time up, get some info.
Up and in, 3-1. Terry Collins doesn't want to see his young pitcher walk this guy in front of the on-deck hitter who has killed his ball club this year. (3-1), big gap in left center. Rendon gets a breaking ball, taps it for a 3-2 count.
Might be the difference in Anthony Rendon's second half to Anthony Rendon's first half. Yeah, they were throwing him 3-1 fastballs. Now a reputation that you can hit gets around the league, but you'll spray it wherever they pitch it. You're a good fastball hitter, as evidence of hitting some homers against guys that throw in the upper 90s. He gets a 3-1 slider in the first inning.
Yeah, the Braves really junked it up all weekend against him. A lot of breaking stuff in the dirt. There's a fastball that Rendon reacts to and fouls away.
And the reason he was a hair late on that one is because that 3-1 slider is still planted in the back of his head.
Mets haven't been bad at home. They've won 6 of their last 10 here. 17 of 27 over a 2-month period. Have a home record of 1 game over 500. They're 5 under overall, 7.5 back of the Nationals. 3-2 again with 1 out. Rendon pops it right side. Over to have a look. Lucas Duda coming back to him. He's got it right in front of the rail. 2 down. Here comes Adam LaRoche. Talked about what he's doing against the Mets this year. And part of that last Wednesday, first time up, Rendon, Worth singles, and he goes deep to right. The Nats would put 3 on the board against Jonathan Neese. And then last time up, leading off the 8th. Little insurance in a 7-1 game.
Well, if you're thinking about walking him right here, as you might imagine Terry Collins is, Ian Desmond has done his fair share of damage against the Mets this year as well. So LaRoche does have some protection on deck in the form of the shortstop.
Good call.
Got 4 home runs and 8 RBI against the Mets this year.
.94 for a strike. Shift is on against LaRoche, who's hitting after that very tough July. .371 in August. 2 homers against the Mets, 1 in Atlanta. Target away. Perfect.
That might be the daily strike to Adam LaRoche away that's really not a strike. Yeah, according to pitch track, it was a ball.
In fact, both of them could have been called balls. Let's go inside the numbers with STG. So nobody has hit more home runs here than LaRoche with 11. Dan Uggla, the other, with that many home runs against the Mets in this park.
That look he gives the pitcher right before he gets in the box is just so intense in Adam LaRoche's way.
Looked like a changeup. 87 really turned that one over.
I mean, it looks like he should be smoking a pipe and signing some sort of huge contract. Maybe a peace treaty even to end a war.
Well, we could use him in several spots around the world. 2-2 to LaRoche with Cabrera still at second, 2 down. Target away. And a little bit wide, and the rookie pitcher was walking off the mound toward the dugout.
A little hop toward his dugout. That'll get everybody's attention. Third base dugout. That's not even near.
And a 3-2. LaRoche and a foul tip will strike out. He bookends strikeouts with Span and LaRoche, 2 left-handed hitters. The Nats will strand 1. Doug Fister goes to work. 238 for New York, but they managed to score runs. One of the reasons Daniel Murphy gets on base a lot, leads the league in hits. And by the way, he's had 38 first inning hits this year. Lucas Duda behind David Wright doing damage, having a career year. 21 homers and 64 batted in. Doug Fister has beaten the Mets here as a Tiger and in Washington as a Nat, and that was just a few days ago.
He'll sink the fastball, cut the fastball. That's why you see the high percentage. Throw a straight fastball as well. Breaking ball is the curve ball. And he'll drop a changeup in there at 80.
Curtis Granderson scuffled last week against the Nats, hitting a .186 in the month of August. He's hit a career home run against Doug Fister, 2 for 9 career.
See, righty's hitting just .227 against Fister.
He's been on the mound for about 45 seconds and thrown 3 pitches.
That's all I'm talking about.
You'll love it. He's got his guys ready, and a 1-2.
Had an interesting talk with Doug the other day, talking about how in Double-A he used to listen to the scouting reports all the time, and he'd sit in those meetings and they made every hitter sound like he was the greatest hitter in the world. And he said, and he used to hear those and pitch to guys like they were the greatest hitters in the world. And along the way, he's realized that it's about his stuff and pitching to his strengths. He doesn't even listen to scouting meetings anymore. He sits in on them, but he said, when I go out there, I'm going to do what I do best, regardless of what the scouting report says on a given hitter.
Yeah.
And he says he's been doing that since Double-A, and it works for him. He said you can sit in those meetings and get awed by how they talk about other players and go out there and think you're facing the 27 Yankees.
Granderson will hook and foul. That was after a 2-2 pitch that was real close to the outside corner. Granderson's hit 15 home runs for the Mets, driven in 46. Granderson, of course, a longtime Tiger. 0-4 up to 0-9. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes for the 108th time this year.
Hey, say you'll sit in those meetings, they'll say, well, this guy's a great fastball hitter. We're going to have to throw off speed to him, and fastball counts today. I said, well, you know, I'm a fastball pitcher. My fastball moves. So if I throw my sinker in the right spot, as you see right there, even if a guy is a good fastball hitter, A, it's not my fastball, and B, it's my strength.
Well, I'm looking at the numbers that say Granderson's 2 for 10 career against him. He's done well. Doug has. So go do your thing.
But, you know, I've sat in those meetings so many times, Carp, and you know, the defense sits in too. And I'm not talking about the Nationals. I'm talking about my experiences. They just make everybody sound, well, if you hang one to this guy, he can hit it tomorrow. And, you know, we're going to shade this guy to pull because in pull counts, he's really got pop, pull side pop. And, you know, it's almost like they're trying to scare you out of at times doing what you do best.
You don't see Murphy overmatched on a pitch like that very often. He was looking back at Tony Randazzo, wondering if it would have been a called strike, and I think the answer was no.
Well, there's the defense. And there he is, Major League debut, Michael Taylor right there.
Here's David Wright, who's not exactly tearing it up right now. David, 12 hits in 42 at-bats in his 10-game streak. But I thought it was interesting that he's had 4 double-digit hitting streaks this year. 21 in his career. That's in there. Against Doug Fister, he's 1 for 3. Hits that ball well. Right center, tailing away from Span. No problem. About 380 feet away when Denard caught up with it. And evidently you can outrun the baseball.
Well, it just caught me in a little Anthony Rendon yawn right there as you watch Denard Span do his thing once again.
in the Nationals lineup today. It looked like Worth had turned a corner with his right shoulder injury the other day when he was in the lineup at Atlanta Sunday night after sitting out the 2 previous games. But Worth aggravated that shoulder injury in that Sunday night game on a slide, Matt Williams said earlier today, and there's now more inflammation in that AC joint. He left the ballpark earlier today to go get an MRI. The Nationals say that they don't think it's a DL situation, that it's not anything structural, but Worth is out of the lineup again today. He wasn't at Citi Field earlier. They hope that he'll be back today and maybe be available for a late pinch hit. But this is something that Jason Worth is going to have to deal with now, this inflammation that keeps popping up in his right shoulder.
Yeah, that's a bat the Nats do not need to lose out of this lineup. And the presence in the clubhouse and all the other things that go along with Jason Worth.
I watched him throw a ball in from right field in the Sunday night game, and it was just a routine throw into second base. And everyone talking about Jason Worth's swing, but it's his right shoulder, and he barely got it to second base. And Captain Obvious, this is not good.
Well, Steven Souza Jr. went on the DL, bringing up Taylor. And Ian Desmond got a breaking ball, couldn't quite get to it. Nats will have to get a base runner aboard for us to see Michael Taylor in this second inning.
I do know that behind the scenes, Jason is doing everything he can to get out on the field right now.
By the way, we're told no structural damage to the shoulder of Steven Souza Jr. It's a contusion from that horrible impact with the wall. So if anything, good news for him and us and the ball club. And Desmond looks at one that just misses.
Impressed with the command early on from Rafael Montero. Fastball just missing outside.
Yeah, pretty straight. If that thing comes cutting back on the Mercedes track, would have been a strike. That's way outside. And the Nats will get their leadoff man on for the first time.
Like I said, I'm impressed with the command early on from Rafael Montero. Let's check out the walk-off tater. Bryce Harper ended the homestand Thursday in fashion. The 13th inning.
Ooh, sounded like a homer, didn't it?
Yeah, but it looked like one too. How about that?
I guess he made it to home plate. Got pushed over to the third base side right away. And here's Bryce with a .363 on base percentage since the All-Star break. This one deep to left. Dendecker back, and Bryce has done it to the Mets again. Opposite field Thursday, opposite field tonight. 2-0 Washington.
I think Ferris Bueller caught it too.
Boy, he really stayed on that ball till the very end.
Okay, the last one was in a white uniform. This one in a gray uniform. Let's see who does a jump shot. Franzen has the hoop ready. See him right there. That's a layup right there for Desmond.
Bryce Harper, 5th homer of the year. The Nats 98th. And here comes Wilson Ramos, and don't throw him a first pitch fastball after that. It was a little bit away, and Ramos was pumping, trying to go back to back.
It was about a week ago when Bryce Harper couldn't touch anything on the outer half. He was spinning out of there. Front side was flying open. Obviously has made the adjustment. So we showed you the walk-off at home, and this one eerily similar. Same spot, left field. Puts the Nats up 2-0.
Ramos, 93, moves him away. Worst possible combination for a pitcher to start the inning. A walk and a blast. Michael Taylor on deck with Ramos in the box.
And I watched how he walked to the plate. And he didn't even come close to that big Mets logo behind there. I mean, that would take a lot of work to rub that out with your cleats. It might take, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. So, yeah, all's good for Bryce now that he's not in Atlanta. Like a rototiller and a weed whacker and all kinds of stuff to get that one out.
Now the best weed whacker is a ball into the left field seats. Michael Taylor waiting for his first major league at bat.
Fired up to see this kid play.
And Ramos gets jammed, pops it up over by the on deck circle. And about 5 rows into the field seats. Travis d'Arnaud chasing. Michael Taylor, 23 years of age, 6'3", 209 from Fort Lauderdale's Westminster Academy.
I have butterflies for him right now.
Ramos working things here. That's the 6th home run Montero's given up this year. Home run ball's not a problem for him in AAA, but they have at the big league level. And he gets Ramos reaching with 94, his 3rd strikeout.
The right fielder, number 18, Michael Taylor.
So Taylor in the minor leagues, 49 home runs, 268 RBIs.
He's an aggressive hitter. You think he's hacking right here on the first fastball he sees? First pitch as a major leaguer.
Pretty good hack.
Pretty good swing right here. Foot down early. That's the key for Taylor. He says when he gets that foot down early, he sees the ball better, makes better decisions. This year he's laid off that slider in the dirt a lot more than he has in previous years.
And something else I've noticed about his setup, he's actually choked up an inch or so on that bat. Right? Not all the way down on the knob.
Well, I would say if it worked for Barry Bonds, it should work for everybody.
0-2 pitch. Up the middle, hits the mound, base hit. Welcome to the big leagues, Michael Taylor. What a nice moment for him. And a chance now for Doug Fister to sacrifice with 1 out.
There's a ball that he'll cherish the rest of his life. And an at-bat he'll remember the rest of his life. First major league hit for Michael Taylor. Congratulations. How cool was that? I'm telling you, that just never gets old.
Well, we might get to see his wheels here. Doug Fister is going to pull his bat back from strike 1.
Well, he's struck out a lot as a minor leaguer, but like you said, Carp chokes up, foot down early, takes a fastball in the inner half, gets his hands inside of it, and hits a pea off the mound into center field for his first major league knock, and many more to come.
Fister pops it up. And Taylor hanging around first base. Montero takes care of that for the 2nd out. Top of the order, Denard Span. Now Taylor did steal 35 bases this year. Last season opened eyes at Single A Potomac when he swiped 51. Denard Span caught looking first time on a fastball in there. He's off to a little bit of a walking lead, and Montero tried to throw in behind him.
You know, when Span made that play to end the bottom of the first inning, my first thought was Michael Taylor playing next to him in right field saying, wow, you know, a guy that played center field a lot, and Taylor supposedly covers as much ground as Denard does, but first time he sees a play like that at the major league level, he must have been thinking, okay, that's how they do it up here every single time.
He's off to a pretty big leadoff here. Span ahead in the count. I mean, Taylor's got his front foot out to the cut of that grass. He's holding way outside, 2-0. I was thinking about the whole get promoted to the big leagues thing, and all of a sudden you find yourself hitting 8th. Not the easiest thing in the world to do, even for a veteran player. And he gets that knock. Now puts a little pressure on the Mets defense with a hot hitter in the box. So on that breaking ball in the dirt, it goes to 3-0.
It's a lot of pitches.
19 in the first inning, 11 strikes. 22 more here. Dodgers have an early run at Atlanta, 1-0 top of the second. Span up the middle, speared by Montero. Good defensive play, but he gave up a homer to Bryce Harper after walking in Desmond. So Bryce, last 2 times up against the Mets, left center, this one straight away left field. Washington on the road, as usual, leading in New York.
He gets out of the gate, pound the strike zone, doing his thing. Couple of strikeouts, and then watch Denard Span go get this one. I know, not shocking, not breaking news, but David Wright, hot like Carp said, does a nice job of hitting that ball to gap with Denard Span. I'm saying 98% of the time, if it's in the ballpark, he catches it. Maybe 99.
Bottom of the second, Lucas Duda. 2 for 3 career against Doug Fister. He's hit a home run since the Nats saw him last week. Career high 21. Career high 64 batted in. So at the age of 28, finding some things at the big league level, establishing himself as a bona fide slugger, RBI guy, which is exactly what you want out of that position at first. Inside the numbers with STG. Don't get Doug too many runs and he wins. Only time he loses is when you get shut out or only score 1. That's how good he's been this year. It's very impressive. 11-0 when he gets at least 2 runs. And he got 2 from him. Changeup. I think really moving away from the left-handed batter.
Hey, you could go down all the stats with Doug Fister, but the one that jumped out at me today is 24 starts against the National League. He's 13-5 with a 2.07 ERA.
Paints with a fastball. Lucas Duda spinning out of there, and Doug Fister has struck out 3 of the first 4 Mets. Nissan will track it.
That's a front hit fastball. Came back just enough due to looking on the other side of the plate. Fister tripped him with an inside heater.
Next up, Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher. Nine homers on the year. He's hit 2 in the last 3 games for the Mets. 0 for 6 against Doug Fister.
Hey, talking to Fister the other day too, he was saying that my fastball can be like 30 different pitches the way I use it in different quadrants. If I use the 2-seamer, you know, down, in, out, up, the 2-seamer can act like 3, 4, 5 pitches. Then I'll use the cutter to the other side, or inside, up and down. That's another 4 or 5 pitches. And then I have my straight fastball. So in his mind, one pitch can be like, you know, 20, 25, 30 different pitches, you know, based on when he uses it, how he uses it. Just a fascinating conversation with him about pitching the other day in the quadrants of the strike zone.
d'Arnaud rips it to left. Harper back and over, and it's off the glove. Looked like he got a piece of it, and it'll be a double for d'Arnaud. That thing had some hooking action on it. And for d'Arnaud, double number 13.
Yeah, that ball was hooking away from Bryce. I don't know what the wind currents are here at Citi Field, but I've kind of left that one up out over the plate. And watch it. This will be a great shot of it. Watch it hook away from Bryce. Watch this. I mean, almost like a draw off the tee. He could never really get there. Or a duck hook.
Since the we know about those. Since the last time we saw the Mets, they've released Chris Young and brought back to the big leagues Matt den Dekker. He had a birthday 2 days ago, and what a nice present that was, getting recalled at the age of 27. He was hitting .331 at Las Vegas. He's a Fort Lauderdale guy from Michael Taylor's neighborhood. Went to the same high school, well, same name high school, but a different state, Westminster Academy. den Dekker hitting just a .189 at the big league level.
That's like you and I, Carp.
Yeah,
we went to different high schools together.
They weren't the same name though, in different places. That's what. And believe me, buddy, when I went to high school, I'm not sure you were around yet. Yeah, now doing a double check of the Mets media guide. It is the same school in the Fort Lauderdale area that Michael Taylor went to, Westminster Academy. That one floats up and away.
Think he gets carded?
Absolutely.
Look at that.
And will for a while.
How young does he look?
They might card him to see if he even has a driver's
He's
license.
33 and getting carded.
Well, he's 1 for 1 in the big leagues. It's going to look good on his baseball card. Rain falling here. Fastball popped up. Desmond out there, Span. There are some wind currents in the ballpark, and that's a good call for the center fielder to make.
All right, plan holders, you can renew your plans for 2015 right now and reserve postseason tickets. Season plan holders who upgrade their plan for 2015 before September 5th. You'll also have the opportunity to receive upgraded seats for the 2014 postseason. I'm pretty sure you can actually play in the game if you renew right now. Go to nationals.com/renew to get your postseason tickets. There's the wind blowing here at Citi Field.
Yeah, and this is a very high grandstand here. Goes around about 3/4 of the ballpark. But when the ball gets high in the air like that, you really want to see your outfielder take charge, as opposed to infielders moving away from home plate and looking over their shoulder. 16 miles per hour on the winds at game time, and they might have picked up. There's Juan Lagares, the center fielder. He gets jammed. Adam LaRoche having a look. He's there. Got it. Second inning over. 1 out double, no problem for Doug Fister. Working with a 2-run lead. 2-3-4 coming up. The A's for the Nats. One. Doug Fister, very efficient. Cabrera, Rendon, and LaRoche, Volkswagen. It was on this date the work stoppage took place in '94. Matt Williams was on his way to a possible 60 home run season, and the Expos were unbelievable that year. They had baseball's best record at 74-40, and going into that date, Montreal, which was of course thirsty for postseason play, they were just doing fantastic. They had won 20 of 23 FP going into that lockout. We got serious rain at Citi Field now.
There's people, and I agree, I think that if that season would have continued and the Expos would have won the World Series, they'd still be in Montreal.
Quite possible. That might have been the impetus they needed to get that stadium. They were never able to get that stadium deal.
But I must admit, the way it's worked out has been okay with me.
And all of us.
Yeah.
As Drupal Cabrera takes a slider to the outside edge.
Okay, here's the hurricane that I thought was approaching.
Yeah, you can look at the rain that's visible up in front of the lights, and some of it's blowing sideways.
Well, as long as there's not a Sharknado, we are okay.
It's up to the crew chief now, Brian Gorman at second base. And a ball hooked out to right center, and as Drupal Cabrera is 2 for 2. 9 for 32 is a national now.
Couple of nice swings by the Nats second baseman. First two at bats. Just serves this one to right center field. Barrels it up. Had that nice crisp sound right through the raindrops for a leadoff single. And let's see how long they decide to go with this one before they put the tarp on. It's starting to bring it.
Cabrera now hitting .281 as a Nat. 2 for 2 tonight. Here's Anthony Rendon. Well, you hate seeing Doug Fister get interrupted, which is a definite possibility here.
I just looked at the radar all day and I didn't know what everybody else was seeing. I must have missed something.
Busted bat to short. Flores and Rendon not able to leg it out. Made it close. Pretty good play by Wilmer Flores on the charge.
I mean, they can't let this go any longer. This is not safe, and it's absolutely coming down.
Rain stopping the game at 7:52 Eastern time. Just pelting down here. Ground crew just now getting the tarp unrolled from the third base side. And now, obviously, a question of how long will unplayable weather go on in the Mets. They're having a hard time getting this thing turned so they can get it out to the outfield.
Well, I got this as a small cell just over Citi Field right now, but there is some serious stuff behind it, so we'll keep an eye on that. Just one little cell over the ballpark, and then you go back to New Brunswick, New Jersey. And
monster storm coming up from the southwest here. So grounds crew about to get the infield covered. Rain delays the game at 7:52 in the top of the third with 1 on 1 out, and the Nationals leading 2-0.
Masson Dan has his umbrella on down there, just absolutely wearing it right now in the middle of this. You go in the dugout, Dan. Nobody else is in there.
Dan, get inside, please.
All right.
Come on. That's an expensive suit you're wearing there, buddy.
Get in the dugout, Meat. What are you doing?
I wait for Chip's call, boys. I'm down here until he tells me I'm good.
Chip Winfield, our producer. Dan, though, we get a perspective up here, but down there, how hard's it coming down?
Pretty good, and it's swirling. You guys talked about the winds that was blowing around earlier. It kind of picked up out of nowhere, and now it's actually died down a little bit, and the grounds crew guys are kind of standing around looking at each other saying, what are we going to do here?
Well, that's the cell. If you look at the radar right now, it's just a tiny little cell moving right over the ballpark. It's done. That's it. But there is more to come.
Yeah. Like we said, monstrous storm already washed out a game. I mean, that game in Baltimore, I think, had already been called by the time we arrived at the ballpark between 3:30 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. Phillies are on the West Coast, so nothing happening in Philadelphia for baseball. And
I mean, that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just looking up at the board.
Probably got an hour window after this before.
Yeah. And the Yankees were the team playing in Baltimore, at least scheduled to do so. So right now, rain has pretty much stopped.
It's entirely stopped, boys.
Okay. Good job staying outside like that. Now we know you were there with a purpose.
Way to wear it.
I'm here when you need me.
So we're just gonna kind of wait around here. The grounds crew standing around waiting for some kind of order.
Stay, Dan. You stay right there.
All right.
Don't
bring me
move.
a hot dog or something. I'm getting.
Simon says stay.
If you hear thunder or see lightning, get out of there.
All right.
No, stay.
No,
I'm getting mixed messages here. I don't know what to do.
Rain. We're getting mixed weather because it's raining again now.
Yeah, I don't even need this umbrella anymore. What am I doing?
There you go. It's really not that bad.
Meanwhile, up on the board, they're showing the Dodgers and the Braves. They're in the third inning now, with Los Angeles on top of Atlanta, 1-0. Nationals lead the Braves by 4 games, 5 on the loss side. So we're going to take our break here, take a breath, try to figure out with the grounds crew what's next here at Citi Field. That's on top, 2-0, top of the third. Back with you from the Big Apple in a moment. Presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals.
Well, we're getting close. Rafael Montero on the mound taking his warm-up pitches right now. They're putting some Diamond Dry on the field, and it should be just a moment before we restart this one, the top of the third. But in the meantime, the Nats begin a weekend series against the Pirates on Friday, August 15th. The first 15,000 fans ages 21 and over. You get a Nationals bottle opener cap that's presented by Miller Lite. Get it at all gates while supplies last. Get your game tickets by calling the number on your screen. Or go to nationals.com/tickets for your sweet lid.
Rafael Montero, 47 pitches, 29 strikes as he takes the mound to get ready. Having given up so far 2 runs on 4 hits. Cabrera 2 for 2, double single. Kennard Span 0 for 2. Desmond a walk followed by the Harper home run and Michael Taylor's first major league hit. With 1 out, a clean single up the middle that hit the mound in the second. So his Mets teammates, the outfielders already out there. Guys on the infield making their way onto the field. So we're moments away from resuming here. Braves have scored a run to tie the Dodgers. They are 1-1, 4th inning in Atlanta. The Nats lead by 4. Actually gained a half game yesterday when the Braves were beaten by LA. These Mets 7.5 back. Marlins beat St. Louis last night at home. They are scoreless tonight in the 4th inning.
There's times when Giancarlo Stanton hits a ball so hard, I feel like they should just gain a game in the standings because how far it went. Just every once in a while. Last night, his 2 taters were ridiculous.
For 58 and 60, the Marlins hanging in there. They're definitely in the wild card hunt. Career at Citi Field. Now, LaRoche, Desmond, Harper, the next 3, we hope, already 1 out in the inning, and what they've done in this ballpark. That's brought to you by Honda. And as we mentioned earlier, Adam LaRoche tied with Dan Uggla all-time most homers by Mets opponents in Citi Field. Kind of funny, they throw the ball down and around the infield, and there's a runner at second base.
If Mitsubishi was a sponsor, he would definitely be in on it today.
All right, Cabrera out there talking with Wilmer Flores. Go back to the Baguez dribble. We hate to see the hidden ball trick out of a rain delay.
Can you do that?
I kind of doubt it.
I think the ball has to be in play for the hidden ball trick to be.
And the pitcher has to have it here. So let's see. It is 8:16. Right now a 24-minute rain delay. 8:17 with LaRoche waiting for the first pitch. And he goes left field immediately.
Well, the Mets are lucky that Wilson Ramos isn't the hitter right now. That's all I could say. He homered out of a rain delay in Chicago, and then he homered out of a rain delay in Atlanta.
25-minute rain delay. It's about as good as it gets. Shift is on. Murphy in right field for LaRoche, who struck out swinging first time. Gets jammed on that one and pops it up. Darno back to have a look, and it's well over the screen.
That may have blown back before the rain delay, the way the wind was whipping.
Yeah. Count of 0-2 to the Nats first baseman. Hitting .371 in August. He went off speed with the changeup. It faded outside. 83. And that's kind of bunched LaRoche toward the gap in right center. Straight away is Lagares. Granderson way off the line. A ton of room in the right field corner. And LaRoche right off the end of the bat Carries to Lagares, tagging Cabrera, then he returns. 2 outs. It'll be up to Ian Desmond with 2 down. Look alive, the Metro Silver Line is now open. So this series underway in New York. And tomorrow night, Jordan Zimmerman against Bartolo Colon. Steven Strasburg Thursday night, Dylan G. And against the Pirates, Tanner Roark, Charlie Morton Friday. Gio goes against Jeff Locke on Saturday. And the Sunday ball game, it's a 5 o'clock game. Don't forget, don't come at 1. Doug Fister and Edinson Volquez. 5:05 first pitch on Sunday.
It's the day where the Pirates are moving Pedro Alvarez to first base. Jason Nix is going to play third base. Alvarez, a guy that has tremendous pop from the left side, never really put it together defensively at third base. And Josh Harrison can also play third base.
Desmond takes one right in there. Well, the good thing the Pirates have going for them with McCutchen out, nobody is running away with anything in the Central. They're right in the race. 2.5 back of Milwaukee in second place. But they have to play the Nats and the Braves in the next week and a half. Desmond takes it up and away.
We talked about Adam LaRoche having some protection his first at bat with Ian Desmond on deck. Based on Bryce Harper's last 2 at bats against the Mets, Ian Desmond should see something to hit right here with Bryce on deck.
Mets have just, rather the Marlins have just put 3 on the board against St. Louis. Donovan Solano has homered. Fastball just outside, and a really good take by Ian Desmond.
A nice at bat, working very patient, taking borderline pitches.
Desmond walked with a good at bat right in front of Harper's home run. Got a breaking ball and he pops it up. Out goes Flores. In comes Lagares. Center fielder makes the call. The catch in the top of the third with a rain delay at 25 minutes is over. Nats have stranded 3. Doug Fister will get all the tosses he needs to get ready again. Ball on Masson. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Doug Fister getting ready. 31 pitches, 19 strikes in the first 2 innings. Enjoying a 2-0 lead. Getting some run support early for the achiever in you, PNC Bank. In their minor league report, A.J. Cole came with Blake Trinan in the Michael Morse deal, January of 2013. Tearing it up right now at Syracuse. 8 starts, 4 decisions, all wins, solid ERA, 34 Ks, 47 innings. So pitching to contact, getting outs, and not walking many. A.J. Cole. Doug Fister only hit he's given up that double by Travis d'Arnaud. Struck out 3 of the first 4 Mets. He faces the number 8 hitter here, Wilmer Flores, the shortstop. Flores had a couple of hits against him last week, 2 for 3.
I wonder how the delay affects Doug Fister's rhythm. He was in some kind of groove. We'll see. First pitch strike.
And Flores, another good swing. Taylor, first put out in the big leagues. Off the bat of the right-hander, coming back to him a bit.
Well, you all of a sudden have 3 center fielders playing the outfield for the Nats. You have Bryce Harper, who played a lot of center field in 2012. Obviously, Denard Span is as good as it gets. And now Michael Taylor in right field. And if Jason Worth is out for an extended period, Michael Taylor going to get the bulk of the work in right field. So you would imagine hits are going to be hard to come by for opponents because all 3 of those guys cover a lot of ground.
Put one in the gap. It better be a low line drive. Rafael Montero is a big league hitter, 0 for 5 with a sacrifice.
The one problem you can get into with 3 center fielders, and I've been a part of that before, is you're all used to taking charge, so the communication has to be really, really good all the time and get a feel for your off outfielder, because when you're the center fielder, if you call the ball, it's yours. You're the captain of the outfield. When you get 3 center fielders out there at a time, they're all used to taking charge, and there could be some hairy moments, if you will, on balls in the gaps.
First time through the order, the Mets go 1 for 9 against Doug Fister. Here's Curtis Granderson, struck him out to start the evening for the New York offense. .84, a beauty. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pretty close to the outside edge. Had him rolling over on 78. Really slowed down Granderson's bat. Rain delay doesn't bother Fister at all. Bryce Harper's given him a 2-run lead. Bryce leads off the 4th.
On his back-to-back jacks against the Mets in successive ABs. Last game, the walk-off Tater. First at-bat here at Citi Field, a 2-run job to put the Nats up 2-0. And that is exactly where we stand. He's about to lead this deal off. Remember, our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Medical Center for every home run a Nats player hits this season. So keep them coming, Bryce. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
keep pitching him away, guys. Starts doing some damage over there. Then Bryce will get something to pull. He'll get a breaking ball in on his hands. And he acted like at first it hit him. Evidently not. And he slipped coming out of the box.
Yeah, he fell. So it's wets. And you're hoping he's all right, actually. We'll watch the tapper to first base and Bryce go down. I don't know what happened there. I didn't see him slip. This might show it. Kind of rolled his right ankle. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Taking inventory right now.
Wilson Ramos struck out swinging first time. That's a good fastball to the outside edge. Wilson Ramos has been doing some damage. 29 games since coming off the DL. 17 batted in on 4 home runs and a batting average of .306. You can look at their outfield and sort of tell they're going to try to pound him away. May show him a fastball off the plate here and there. That was 94 under his hands. Citi Field in New York. Nats have dominated here. 22-4 over the last few years. 3-0 this year. Trying to beat the Mets for the 8th time this season in 10 games. Pfister doing great. Harper a big home run. And Ramos will reach and foul another.
All right, so you know the drill. Let's see your photos. Hashtag it Massive Fan Photos, and we'll show it on TV. We'll make up a name for you, and we'll act like we're excited.
Removing all mystery from that promotion. Pound him away, foul balls away. I guess pound is more of an inside term, pitching him away. And pitch after pitch to that outside edge. It's the way they've been going after Wilson Ramos for weeks. Michael Taylor next. Braves have scored a run, top of the 5th. Atlanta 2, LA 1. Ramos can't get to that 94. Really diving low and in. Strikeout number 4 for Montero.
So away early and a nasty sinker in late.
There's Michael Taylor.
A bad guy to have hitting 8th for you. 22 home runs, 63 RBIs at the minor league level. 1 for 1 as a major leaguer. And if they had canceled this game, for those of you that don't know, that first big league knock would not have counted. It has to be an official game.
What do you do with the baseball then?
Throw it the stands. It's no good.
That's a breaking ball, a beauty. 1-1.
Big
Montero.
barrel. Look at that barrel.
That is big. Thin handle, big barrel. And look at him choked up. We like that. Can't get to that breaking ball away. Make note of the pitch count. Nats will have Montero around 70 here through 4 innings. Good eye, 3-2. Doug Fister on deck here in the fourth. 40 pitches, 25 strikes for him. And a breaking ball. It'll be outside third and foul.
I was wondering if they're going to throw him a 3-2 fastball or not right there, and that might be a challenge for Michael moving forward if he stays in that 8th spot. Pitcher on deck. Right now, his job is to turn the lineup over, get Doug Fister to the plate any way that he can so Denard Span leads off the 5th. And saying that, right now, Montero knows he has to throw a strike, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a fastball. I'd be kind of shocked if he doubles up on the slider, though. So you should see a heater here.
He gets one. Up and out of play, right side.
So with early returns, I can see why he hit 22 home runs. That's a sweet swing. It really is.
What do you like about it?
Well, just the foot down early and how under control and violent it is all at the same time. It's very short and quick and then gets long after contact. You see that swing right there. Even though he's late, the reason he's late, he's got a little bit of slider in the back of his head. There's some doubt created by that first 3-2 slider, so he's not all in on the fastball. But yeah, that's a lot of torque in that swing, and the long levers. That's where he gets the whip and he gets the pop.
Breaking ball, pulls it to third. David Wright got him on a close play. 1-2-3 from Montero, top of the fourth inning. Well, some folks are waiting over at LaGuardia for a flight or two. Misty, rainy night in the Big Apple. We're not far away at Citi Field. Doug Fister facing these Mets with our T-Mobile do-up. Bottom of the fourth, and what they've done against right-handers. Well, Daniel Murphy's hitting just about everybody. 147 hits. David Wright, Lucas Duda. Left, right, left here. Fister struck out Murphy. He got him 0-2. Sort of wasted one away. Murphy went after it. Look back to the umpire to see if it was a called strike had he not swung. Probably ball one, but Doug worked him away beautifully. And when I say Fister wasting one, that means maybe it's 4 inches off the plate. Not a foot high or a foot out.
Well, he was talking about Tom Hallion's strike zone last time, that he was given a few inches outside, and how he's a veteran guy. He's able to exploit that. If he sees a guy that's going to give him something, he keeps going until he reaches the limit. And it might be an inch off the plate or 2 inches off the plate. The veteran control pitcher that Pfister is can really use that to his advantage.
Murphy tried to pull a pitch away, rolls over the ground ball. Pitching one of the league's best hitters very well first 2 times.
I mean, there is all kinds of stuff going on against the Pirates. August 15th, 7:05. Freedom Fireworks post-game event. You get some military pageantry, patriotic theme music. The U.S. Air Force Honor Guard drill team will be there. So what more do you want? Pirates, Nats, 7:05, and fireworks right after. Look at that, 93% fastball. But like I said, that's
all different pitches.
A lot of different pitches. In, out, up, down.
David Wright tries right field this time, and Michael Taylor right there, 2 outs.
Sink, cut, straight. So if you sink it, Carp, you go in, out, up, down. That's 4 pitches.
Yeah.
If you cut it in, out, up, down, that's 4 pitches.
I've got 4 more.
Same with the fastball. So, you know, almost like, by my math, 80 pitches in one fastball. But no, I mean, just the conversation we had the other day about how he goes about it, unbelievable. And maybe someday we can mic him up before the game and he can replicate that, because I think it would be awesome for fans to hear his thoughts on how he goes about it. Just, I mean, A+ stuff. And there's a reason why guys like that are successful. Talk to him about pitching for 10 minutes, and you know why.
Lucas Duda. I was just thinking, someday when he's got a little side session, have you and Kolko face him in a simulated game.
No, you know, he doesn't need his confidence boosted anymore. He's doing just fine.
Yeah, you might start thinking he's Doug Pfister.
He lives vicariously through himself.
Yeah. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Shift on for Lucas Duda with Anthony Rendon up the middle. Cabrera in right field. Lucas Duda struck out looking first time. A pitch that handcuffed him.
I guess the main thing that I took from our conversation was that he executes his pitches. And if somebody hits his pitch and he executes it right, he tips his cap and says, I'm going to get the next guy. And from a hitter standpoint, that's like you do all your work, you get up there, get your foot down early, square up a baseball, hit a line drive right at the shortstop, and well, you did everything right. You know, that's the way he thinks out there. If I'm trying to throw a sinker down and away, I execute it, guy hits the left for a sinker, well, I did my job, and I'm not going to sit there and worry about it after.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Duda turns on one, kept his hands inside it, drops a fair ball into the corner. Taylor got to it in a hurry, and nice one hopper right to the bag. But a good hitting job by Lucas Duda. That breaks up a string of 7 straight retired.
I mean, it tries to go in here on Duda and throws the cutter, and Duda gets enough of it for a 2-out knock. Nice play by Taylor going down the corner and threw a one-hop bullet right on the money.
Travis d'Arnaud doubled last time up. That thing right off the top of the bat. That was d'Arnaud's first career hit against Pfister. And doubled in the second. Now 1 for 7 against him. Lucas Duda is 3 for 5 this year against Doug. And he rolls in the breaking ball at 77. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
You know, mixing it up. d'Arnaud hit the fastball last time to left, and this time he drops the big looping curveball at 77 in there.
Goes with the heater and just missed. Great swing back action to that fastball.
Take a little off, put a little on. That also adds like another pitch to your heater. Throw one at 87, throw one at 91.
We were told if Jason Worth made it back to the ballpark, he could be available for pinch hitting duty later, depending on the results of that doctor's visit this afternoon. And when Dan finds out more, or if we find out more, we'll let you know. Well, Mr. Bounces 1, 3 and 2.
The question with Jason becomes, do you push it right now in middle to late August and risk maybe missing some important games in the end of September, or even more important games in the month of October? That's what you have to weigh right now if you're Jason Worth and the Nationals.
That ball well hit. Left center. Span. Actually slowing down and nearly waiting for the ball when it got there. His jumps are incredible. He'll bat after Pfister. Another good inning for Doug.
Stuff. Matt Williams and Madsen want to challenge you to a game of Fungo Golf in the Care First Fan Challenge. Just tweet using hashtag I challenge Matt all week long for your chance to win. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take a step towards a more active lifestyle. And for those of you that don't know what Fungo Golf is, you just kind of set up a hole around the ballpark. You grab a fungo and a baseball, and you say, well, to the Big Apple in center field or the 408 sign, it's a par 4, and the first one to hit the ball off the 0 on the 408 sign wins the hole. So it's kind of like a rain delay game that baseball players have invented to kill time. And I would like to see a fan play Matt Williams and beat him, because it ain't going to happen.
Cool. You want to really get in his head, though, say, Matt, how many homers would you have hit in 94? That'll get him off his game a little bit.
He's
43 at the work stoppage.
He's unflappable. The Big Marine is unflappable.
2-0 to Doug Pfister. Tried to sacrifice Taylor to second base with 1 out in the second. Bunted the ball in the air. The pitcher grabbed it. And Doug will take a strike. 2-1. 5th inning underway. The Dodgers have picked up a couple. 5th inning, they lead at Atlanta 3-2. Pfister, well hit, base hit. His second hit of the year in 31 at-bats, and the 6th of his big league career.
Well, the longer he plays in the National League, I mean, he's going to have a good average. It's just all new to him this year. And like we always say, the former first baseman at Fresno State. There's the old first base hack. Foot down early. A little extension going the other way. Nicely done.
Perfect. Let's put some pressure on the Mets here. You have Speedy Denard Span coming in. David Wright's on the grass at third. Not that Span's going to sacrifice, but he could bunt for a hit. Trying to extend that hitting streak now to 15 games. Been retired twice by Montero on a called strike, and then a one-hopper up the middle. Not sure if it would have been a hit, but the pitcher stabbed it and then threw him out. Second time through the order, the Nationals go 2 for 9. First time around, they went 3 for 8 with a walk. Lucas Duda plays right in front of the runner. Actually playing way off the bag with Fister over there. It was something we saw from the Mets years ago when Bobby Valentine was their manager.
Well, they're just playing there because of Doug Fister being a pitcher. He's not going to run anywhere. The reason he's playing in front is because of the threat of the bunt from Denard Span.
Trying to cut off some room over there if Span would pull a ground ball. He'll line it. It's dropped. So he goes to the bag for one, and he'll turn it into a 1-6 double play. Pardon me, a 3-6 double play. First baseman to the shortstop on an unusual effort where the line drive was not caught.
Well, we just talked about how he was playing close, and he gets an absolute bullet off the bat of Denard Span. Hanging slider up in the zone. Span turns on it, and Lucas Duda did a nice job just to deflect that and knock that down. If you're thinking he should have caught it, he was playing so close. I think he did a good job from keeping that from being a triple and a run.
Yeah.
Oh, it was scalded.
So 3-6 with a tag on the end. 2 outs, bases empty for Cabrera. Important play for the Mets because as Drupal is 2 for 2. Got jammed on that one. Target in again. Pitch count getting up there. 44 after 2 innings. That ball right through the catcher. He had 56 after 3, and then 74 pitches going into this 5th inning. Fought off that one. And popped him up to the right side for Murphy. Nats had their leadoff man on, Doug Fister. Double play line drive. Pop up. We're going to the bottom of the 5th inning. 6-7-8 for the Mets. The Harper homer, the difference.
something going on at the ballpark. Oh, there you go. Nats Live free postgame concert series. Martina McBride, August 16th against the Pirates. It's presented by the Travel Channel. It's free with your Nationals game ticket. Yeah, right after the game, she'll be on stage and rocking the house. Apparently there was 42,000 teenage girls at Nats Park last night, and it's the loudest my neighbors have heard Nats Park, and that's including the playoffs in 2012.
It was a little more high-pitched, right?
Yeah.
Sound cutting through blocks of concrete coming out of the ballpark last night.
One Direction apparently absolutely nailed it last night at Nats Park, and it was loud.
What?
Yeah.
Matt Dendecker flied to Span first time. Leads off the fifth. As mentioned, Dendecker, same high school in Florida as Michael Taylor. Then he went to play for the Gators and was a three-time All-SEC. Three hits in his first two games back in the big leagues. And a tapper right side. Cabrera charging it to get that easy hop.
Well, just to give you an idea, my 17-year-old daughter, when she saw that One Direction was coming to Nats Park, said, "Dad, that's where I'm going to come out and see it." And I said, "Well, that's great, dear, but we're not in town." And she said, "Okay, then I'm not coming." So that's how popular One Direction is with.
We miss all the concerts.
That demographic. They're good.
I mean, several years ago, we were out of town for the Pope. He was in New York while we were in Washington. We came up here, and he went to Washington. That would have been something to see. And that is low and away. Nationals Park has hosted a wide array of events now since opening in 08. And we heard that the crowd was wonderful last night, very well behaved, nothing going on except fun, music, and a lot of squealing. That's pretty good jammage by Doug Fister on Juan Lagares. 1 ball, 2 strikes with an out here in the fifth. Big rolling curveball. Flied into right. Taylor. 2 outs. And Doug Fister a chance now to go after the number 8 hitter. With 2 outs in the fifth. Wilmer Flores. His fly ball to right field. Taylor's first big league putout 2 innings ago. It is not as easy as this man makes it look. It's unbelievable how efficient, how quick, and how easy he can make it look sometimes. Perfect. 78. No balls, 2 strikes.
Right when he gets you looking fastball in, he throws a changeup away. Right when you sit on the changeup, he busts a fastball in. Right when you're looking for something hard, he throws you something soft to the other side of the plate. He just mixes it up so well.
And unable to reach it, Cabrera. It was a curveball. It was about belt high. Maybe got too much of the plate, more than what Doug wanted. And Wilmer Flores is 3 for 5 career against him. They'll bring in Montero, the pitcher. Nissan will track it.
A little curveball away. Does a nice job of staying on it. Nice effort by Cabrera right there. Favorite part about Doug Fister's night tonight is he's got a dirty uniform. I love to see the starting pitcher with a dirty uniform.
Montero goes up, heck.
It's not a shock that he has one. Gamer.
88. Strike two. And off the end of the bat out to center. Denard Span cruising to it. And Doug Fister gives up a base hit. He's given up a hit in 3 innings tonight. Put 5 zeros on the board. 2-0. Opposite field home run early. 2-0. The Nats formula for success when Doug Fister's pitching. Get him a couple of runs, catch the ball, and you can take care of business.
Yeah, big home run by Bryce Harper, but Doug Fister just doing his thing, mixing it up nice, throwing the ball down in the zone, elevating when he wants to, throwing strikes when he wants to, then expanding the zone, and the Mets are going with him. So far, so good for Doug.
Second lowest hitting team in the National League, the Mets. Only San Diego hits for lower batting average, but you always like to have a couple more runs on the road and some big guns coming up here in the 6th.
Yeah, you want to add on. You score the 2 runs early. Obviously, you want to get some more runs. Take some pressure off the Nats bullpen, but right now, as efficient as Doug Fister has been, you're starting to think of him going really deep into this ball game, and let's see if they can mount a little add-on rally right here.
Honda brings you the 6th inning due-ups for the Nats. 3-4-5 on the road. Rendon, a lot of extra base hits, hitting .270. Adam LaRoche, homers and RBIs, and Ian Desmond, a little bit of everything. 70 RBIs for your shortstop. Anthony Rendon is fouled out to first and grounded out softly to short. Flores charge, made a good play, threw him out in the 3rd. And that's a strike on Rafael Montero's 87th pitch of the night. By the way, Fister's at 72 pitches through 5 innings. Says 48 strikes. I don't remember him missing with 24 pitches.
Well, if he did, it's because he wanted to.
Exactly. Just getting ahead and showing guys stuff off the plate. And Rendon taking a big swing the other way. Nats box. Cabrera double first inning. Big sequence in the 2nd. Desmond walked leading off. Harper went left field to make it 2-0. Michael Taylor got his first big league hit. Cabrera single in the 3rd. Fister base hit to lead off the 5th. Not of a lot of offense. You'd like a little more here as this ball game moves toward the late innings. Rendon IDs the breaking ball, lays off. Braves didn't score in the 6th. Dodgers lead 3-2, top 7 at Turner Field. Front door breaking ball. There it goes. See you later. Rendon, number 16. The Nats lead 3-0.
Just such a crisp, clean sound to it. 16th home run of the year for Anthony Rendon, and my goodness, what a good at-bat. Got to a 3-2 count and got this little backup slider that was actually the first pitch that Montero threw Rendon. But look at this. Just short, compact, pulling his hands in quickly, getting the barrel to that baseball, and lighting another one up. Wow.
Well, that pads things a bit. Rendon, RBI number 66. He's in the top 10 of the league in that category. The Nats have hit 99 home runs.
Little add-on we were talking about right here. So 2 in the 2nd via a Bryce Harper home run. And now Anthony Rendon hits his 16th to make it 3-0.
Adam LaRoche taking borderline pitches. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, you know what you're seeing here tonight that you didn't see on Sunday night is discipline from all the hitters. And I'm talking about both clubs. I mean, 27 strikeouts total in Sunday night's game. And you expected that after playing Saturday night till 3 in the morning. You know, when you're tired as a hitter, it's hard to focus. It's hard to concentrate. Just imagine when you're at work and you haven't got a good night's sleep and you're just kind of staring at your computer screen. You're in that haze, that daze. Imagine trying to hit 95 in that state. And that's what, you know, all the hitters were trying to do Sunday night. And you saw guys swinging at pitches they normally don't swing at. But tonight, a different story.
Carlos Torres, the right-hander. Dana Eveland from the left side for the Mets, getting their bullpen working here in the 6th. Adam LaRoche 0 for 2, strikeout, fly ball to center. He has a payoff pitch coming. And he'll take the walk, his 59th of the year.
I think Adam LaRoche struck out 4 times on Sunday night. He was one of the guys I was talking about with the strike zone discipline. Just kind of, you could tell he was tired, just swinging at everything.
Mets pitching coach Dan Warthen to the mound. So 2nd inning, walk and a homer. 6th inning, home run and a walk. And here's Ian Desmond. Desmond tonight, that big walk in the 2nd, fly ball to center in the 3rd. 3rd time around as far as seeing Rafael Montero for the first time.
I got to admit, partner, I'm starting a scoreboard watch with you. It's about that time.
Yeah, middle of August. Well, and it's so interesting now, the schedule, because you have an odd number of teams in each division. So, you know, the Nats are playing inside the division, but the Braves aren't. And you just, it's crazy the combinations of who 2 contending teams might be playing on any given night. And they've got 3 more, including tonight with the Dodgers, 3 this weekend with Oakland. And then the Pirates go from Washington to Atlanta.
But you just want to build up a little cushion going into that Seattle-Los Angeles road trip, because I think that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. That'll be a tough one to generate lots of offense for sure.
Takes you a few days to get adjusted to that West Coast time zone. 2 really good teams in some hostile environments. Seattle's a tough place to win.
Desmond launches one into the corner. See you later. It's 5-0 Washington. 3 home runs and a big cushion. I mean, that got out of here in an instant. And Ian Desmond has 20 home runs, 72 RBIs.
3rd straight year with 20 taters, and that's his number 20, and he's done it again. That was a bullet. Rendon going jump shot right there. Didn't like the form, but we like the home run. And there's your add-on. A 3 spot here and counting with nobody out in the top of the 6. Ian Desmond approaching that 2020 club once again. Got one end done.
This call to the bullpen packaged by the UPS Store, your one-stop shop for all your small business needs. Let us handle your mailbox service needs. We love logistics. On the way, right-hander Carlos Torres. The Nats blasting away by 5. About as quickly as you can. Nissan tracks the pitch, and look what happens.
Just a hanger right down the middle, little extension right there from Ian Desmond. 13 stolen bases, so we need 7 more bags to get to 2020 for the 3rd straight year.
Did you see that first replay? I do think Jason Worth was the first man in the dugout who knew it was gone. 3 by the Nats. That's their 100th homer of the year. Desmond's hit 20% of them. And here comes 31-year-old right-hander Carlos Torres.
And throws a lot of fastballs. The cutter primarily at 89. A curveball and a change to go with it.
Ian Desmond right now is tied for 3rd in the league with 72 RBIs. Fastball rides up 2-0.
Impressive.
And a high fly ball left side. Flores out. Dendecker in. First out. Bryce Harper retired here in the 6th. Check in with Dan Coco.
Guys, playing off the scoreboard watching conversation that you were just having, I was curious whether the players scoreboard watch this time of year or whether they scoreboard watch at all. So I did kind of a poll of a bunch of players in the clubhouse and got really a mix of responses. A couple of them, Jose Lobaton included, said that they never scoreboard watch. He says even though he's sitting on the bench most days as a backup catcher, he doesn't have any interest in it. He's too kind of locked into what's happening on the field. Some guys said they always scoreboard watch, even from the early games in the season back in April. And then there were a couple in-betweens. Ross Detweiler said he's not really there yet, but when they're in the bullpen and they're at a park where the scores are up there and they're visible, it's hard not to. Jerry Blevins said if it's there, we're not stupid. We're going to look at it. It's kind of right in our faces. But we're getting to the time of year when it sounds like a lot of the guys really start checking on what's going on around the league.
Ramos hits that one well to the gap in right center. Over to cut it off, Granderson, and Wilson Ramos will check in after striking out twice with his first knock of the night. And the Nats are making lots of noise here in the middle of the game suddenly with Michael Taylor coming up.
Well, I think we talk about scoreboard watching. It's such a vague term. Yeah, you'll turn around and check out, if you're the Nats, the Braves score maybe once a game now. But if it's close down to the wire, there have been times when I turned around and checked out the score every inning in the middle of a game in September.
Well, you're preparing for your future vocation, of course.
No, it's getting down the nitty gritty, and you're looking at the 4th inning score, the 5th inning score, all the way till that game's over. But right now, it's probably a glance every now and then for most guys, whether they admit it or not.
Taylor takes one upstairs, ball 1.
3-2 Dodgers in the 7th.
Bottom half. Two and 0. Same pitch.
Well, you got a hit already under your belt. You already checked that box. You work into a 2-0 count. This should be a pretty mighty swing here.
It was. 92 cutting away, foul tip. Well, the good news is the Nats have opened up a big lead. We're beyond the 5th inning. It's an official ball game after early weather uncertainty. And Taylor hits one the other way. This is number 1 if it's out, and it is. Michael Taylor goes the other way. The Nats lead 7-0, and the rookie is singled and now homered.
Goosebumps, anyone? I got him. Unbelievable power going the other way. First home run, opposite field. It's hard not to get carried away right now, but this guy could be the spark they've been looking for.
Well, and that's opposite field here, and that's where that cutout is in right field, where things get deeper in a hurry, and he just took it right over the wall out there to the right of the 375 mark.
Wow.
He didn't wait long, did he?
Wow.
Still only 1 out in the inning. The Nats have put a 5 on the board here in the 6th.
He fouled the ball off 2-0, and I told the truck I don't want to get too carried away with the swing right now, but that was a great swing, even though it was a foul ball. He got the 2-1 pitch. It was outside, a cutter away, and went the other way to the biggest part of this ballpark. The ball doesn't really carry down there where it juts out in right field, and that's why you just didn't know if it was out all the way. You knew he hit it great, and you knew it would be a home run in most parts, but you were wondering here at Citi Field, is this going to carry? Did it have enough? And it barely gets out. Home run number 1. And it totally lit up the third base dugout. I looked down there. Guys were on the top step. They were pumping fists like it was a playoff hit. Great stuff.
3 homers in the inning. Breaking ball to Denard Span. Now the only other thing to check off the list tonight is get Denard Span a hit and get him on base, of course.
Huh.
And a slow curve fouled. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Doug Fister strikes out for the 2nd out. Span in the box, 0 for 3. Tough luck out, double play, that line drive to first last time up. Span gets jammed, bouncer right side. Murphy will probably get another at bat tonight. We'll see.
Well, you're looking at all 3 home runs tonight. First, it was Bryce Harper, then Anthony Rendon, then Ian Desmond. So the 3 this inning, and then how about the kid, Michael Taylor, first home run, opposite field. Unbelievable.
sit around like a deer in the headlights for a week and finally get in there. Then it's even better to check in with your first knock, and even better to hit your first home run. Look at the pop, the extension. He lets the ball get so deep. And the opposite field pop that we heard about, we see right here in the first game for Michael Taylor. The bat has been quick all night long, and you'd imagine you're amped up. But I just like the fact that Matty Williams got him in there quick, and we're going to check out the side swing. Watch. See, he's choked up, barrel control, and the extension. We talked about the long levers and how that creates whip, and you see Jason Worth stand up in the background. He knew as soon as he hit it.
Unbelievable night for his first game in the big leagues.
Now you just relax and play. You've had a good debut. Yeah. Just play now.
Now Doug Fister against Curtis Granderson. That'll play for Denard Span. Fister has retired 12 of the last 14 Mets. So their box score shows nothing but individual hits in the second, the Darno double, in the fourth, the Duda single, and in the fifth, the Wilmer Flores base hit. Murphy and Wright, the next two, they're 0 for 4 tonight. Murphy has struck out and bounced out to second. And he'll just stroke one to left. How about that? That's a swing. Wade Boggs, Tony Oliva, Rod Carew would be proud of right there. A knock for Murphy, his 148th hit of the year. It'll bring in David Wright. He's lined out to the gap in right center. Great running catch by Span. And he has hit a fly ball to Taylor in right. Wright got a fastball late for it. Hard hit, and Rendon able to get a glove on it, but a base hit for David Wright. First time tonight they have hits back to back, much less in the same inning.
Well, a 2-0 game that turned into a 7-0 game with a 5-run six. This would be crunch time right now for Doug Fister. Duda would have represented a go-ahead run for the Mets, but because of the big inning, the add-on inning by the Nats, and you go right after Duda.
Lucas Duda 1 for 2, called third strike, and a base hit his last time. Having the best year of his big league career. He's hit 7 home runs and driven in 15 since the All-Star break. That's one of the top 3 or 4 power pairs of numbers in the National League. Tailing fastball misses.
That window might be closing. It's starting to rain again.
Yes, it is.
I said we had about an hour. Was that close?
I think so. That ball hit well out to left. Harper back, watching it. Bryce will grab it right in front of the wall, about 360 feet away. Well, the ball game resumed at 8:17. It's now 9:25. So an hour, 8 minutes to get to this point.
Well, the wind is still blowing out to left, and that ball was up. Duda hit it well. Bryce Harper does a nice job of finding the fence.
And just based on the way the flag is blowing, not quite as hard as it was earlier in the game, but it's still kind of whipping out there to left field. I thought that was gone.
Outside to Travis d'Arnaud. 1 for 2 with the double. Mid-80s on the pitch count. Doug's gone 6 innings or more 13 times this year. And if he's still around an inning from now, we'll be talking about how great he's been. Going 7 late. Right in there. 2 balls, 1 strike. d'Arnaud swinging from the heels on a pitch that jammed him.
Doug trying to fight that. I got a 7-run lead. Take a deep breath thing. And, grinding with a 2-0 lead the whole game. All of a sudden he's got a little cushion. Human nature to maybe ease up.
And he gets d'Arnaud with a fly ball to center. It's going to send Span back. And Denard puts it away. 6 zeros on the board. And he's gone at least 6, 14 times now.
This point, let's check out the 5-run 6th inning. It was a bunch of homers. First, Anthony Rendon. He goes deep on a 3-2 slider, his 16th of the year. Well, celebration in the dugout, then a missile off the bat of Ian Desmond, his 20th. 3rd straight year with 20-plus home runs for the Nats shortstop. And then Michael Taylor on his first start as a major leaguer got a base hit his first time up. 3rd time up, he hits his first home run. Denard Span dekes him with a high five. That's cool, Denard.
Well, at least he didn't get the silent treatment in the dugout.
And Ian Desmond goes with a long jumper. It looks like it smoked Jordan Zimmerman in the head, and somebody shot a jumper back. And I mean, it's just, it's a basketball game in the Nats dugout tonight because of all the homers. Getting lots of work on the jumpers tonight, and we like that.
Seventh inning underway. Curveball to Asdrubal Cabrera. And a strike from Carlos Torres. Nats second baseman, a double, a single tonight.
The thing about those jump shots, it's, you know, they're really packing it in with the zone.
Yeah. You got to be able to shoot from outside.
And there's a lot of you know, if they're all on offense, there's a lot of 3-second violations too. But you know, they just started that thing. They'll get better.
Johnny Holiday and I might be the only two guys who remember when there was no three-pointer.
I think Desi took the last three-pointer. Then I think it like ricocheted to Worth, and then he shot it back at Franz. And I mean, there's just.
Well, they're getting their work in. That's the important thing. 1-2 to Cabrera, who will get time here. Rendon, LaRoche to follow top 7.
What they got to start doing is have some guys coming off screens, and then feed them the helmet, and then go with the jump shot, kind of all in rhythm. Give a good, you know, chest high pass.
That sounds like a concussion waiting to happen. Outside, 2-2. $7-0 Nats. They've out-hit the Mets 9-5. And Cabrera guides it for his 3rd hit of the night. That'll get down into the corner. Chase Dendecker in there. And Cabrera is now hitting .294 as a Nat.
Line to line, a couple of doubles tonight. First one down the right field line. Then he went base hit to right field. And you're going to throw me away after I pull too? Okay, I got you right here. Beautiful swing by Asdrubal Cabrera. Maybe his best swing as a Nat. That's pretty right there. Double down the left field line to lead off the 7th.
And here's Anthony Rendon, who got that power parade going last inning.
Wind's picking up, rain's picking up.
.93 in there. And Anthony Rendon hits one up the middle. Flores to his left. Runner to third, productive out with Adam LaRoche coming in.
All right, here's our photo. We promised you earlier in the game. All right, some Nata dudes at the yard. Good crowd. What new? Crowds have been fantastic this year. Fans have been fantastic. It's brought to you by AT&T. There they are.
Nice seats.
Nice crowd. I'm going to say brothers, going on a limb.
Big brother in blue. Here's LaRoche. Adam 0 for 2, a walk. And then he scored on the Desmond home run last time. Mets played the infield in. Down 7 here. And LaRoche will bust his bat on a 1-hopper to Torres. Turns and throws him out. 2 down. Ian Desmond was the last man Rafael Montero faced through 101 pitches in 5+ innings, giving up 5 runs on 7 hits and 3 home runs.
I think if Ian steals 2 more bases in August, that'll get him to 15. Then he needs to steal 5 in September. I think he'd do it.
He's got more than half a month. May depend on how many singles he hits. The guy hits for extra bases.
Well, when you're
when
you're in a pennant race, Carp, I mean,
yeah,
it's not just about getting your stats and getting your bases. They have to mean something. If you're out of it, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and steal my 7 and steal third base with 2 outs 3 times and nobody's paying attention or whatever.
Ian Desmond this year has 40 extra base hits and 69 singles. Ball skipping in the dirt. 2-1. Phillies are at Anaheim later. Right now Ian's tied with Ryan Howard. 72 runs batted in for third in the league. Adrian Gonzalez 80. Giancarlo Stanton 82. And that's up and in. Pitch up, big swing, foul tip. Wind is really whipping out to left now. Anything that gets up in the air's got a chance to go. That's a flag on top of the left field roof. And Desmond on an inside out swing takes it out right side.
So this is kind of on the fly, so forgive me if I'm not absolutely 100% correct, but that's never stopped me before. It looks like A-Rod went 23 years in a row, and Hanley Ramirez did it 4 years in a row. So that would be an elite group, obviously, if Ian Desmond steals 20 bases to go with his 20 home runs. They would be the only three that have done it 3 years in a row.
Well, among shortstops now, from a power standpoint, very few peers. And another thing we probably haven't talked about, he's number 3 now in the all-time Washington home run list, behind Ryan Zimmerman and Adam Dunn. And he'll pass Dunn, of course, at some point. On a slider, he strikes out. Carlos Torres, his second K. 7th inning stretch time. Miserable night for Mets fans, but feeling really good for the Nats. Hyundai brings you the 7th inning stretch. Shake Shack out there in right field. It's all Nats right now. Here comes Doug Fister with pitch number 90. He's thrown 59 strikes. Matt Dendecker leads off low and in. Tried to check his swing on a fastball up. Inside the numbers. What's he done tonight as compared to the rest of the season? A lot of heaters. But as you mentioned, different looks to most of them.
Just moving it around, cutting it, sinking it, adding, subtracting, meaning, you know, one's 90, one's 87. That's by design. So throttling hitters and in and out, up and down, and backwards and forwards. Not a lot of guys can do all of that.
And a rare 3-1 count.
Usually you're just, you know, you got a big split between your fastball and your changeup. That throttles them backwards and forwards. But, you know, Doug does it all. In, out, up, down, backwards, forwards. Disrupting the timing.
Yep, 85 on a 3-1 pitch when the hitter thought he was in control of the at-bat. And an easy ground ball.
All right, the Peanuts. It's your summer home for guys like Michael Taylor. Someday you'll see him play in the big leagues, but for now, go to PotomacNationals.com for more information.
Juan Lagares, the hitter. Buddy Carlisle getting ready for the Mets. Ground ball hits the bag. Would have been a hit anyway. And making a round to the bag is Juan Lagares. Hustled by Cabrera to get out there and return it.
A really good hustle in a 7-0 game. You know, ground ball with the eyes hits the bag, but watch Cabrera right here hustle after it to keep Lagares at first base. Nice play. And
Keeps a double play in order.
Well, you know why he did it. Just look at the scoreboard.
Wilmer Flores space hit going the other way last time. '87 right in there. Number 9 spot next for the Mets. And a line drive up the middle. Second consecutive inning. They've had 2 hits. And it'll be a left-handed batter, Kirk Neuenhuis.
That's pitch number 100. I'm looking down the dugout. It looks like somebody's going to the bullpen phone. Ross Detweiler looks like he's hot. Steve McCaddy going to come out and give his big right-hander a little 20-second timeout. I miss the meetings on the mound. And there's a few things I miss as a player. One is slide into second, breaking up a double play, but the meetings on the mound are just priceless. Especially, you just walk up there, you never know what you're going to hear. Sometimes it has nothing to do with the situation and everybody cracks up. And you see Cabrera laughing right there and Fister laughing. I would always go never to say anything, just to eavesdrop it. Don't want to miss it.
Two on, 1 out. Kirk Neuenhuis has a pinch hitter. Very good. 7 for 18, 2 batted in. Doug has been outstanding tonight at getting some of the left-handed batters to roll over ground balls to second.
Take that right now.
That was a breaking ball that got in on the hands of Neuenhuis. Denard Span will take charge. Short right center, 2 outs. And for the Mets, it'll be up to Curtis Granderson.
Well, it's something little, but it's something big, and it's something we haven't seen a whole lot of this year, to be quite honest. Doug Fister in a 7-0 game, busting his tail going behind third base to back up the throw, just in case Lagares had notions of going to third base on Denard Span. I mean, it's little, it's what you're supposed to do, but you don't always see it. With Doug Fister, he points it out, then where am I supposed to be? Okay, I'll go back up third just in case there's a throw. So he hustles all the way over there and is in the right spot.
You love it. There are pitchers who turn into ball watchers.
It's attention to detail. A lot of pitchers around baseball that could watch that and learn from it.
Counts 2-2. Both leadoff men hitless tonight. Span 0 for 4. Granderson 0 for 3.
Well, this is a big at-bat for Doug Fister. He wants to seal the deal right here. It's going to be interesting to see if Matt Williams lets him go past this to face Daniel Murphy.
Granderson, fly ball to Harper. Rice is there. Some numbers on Doug Fister. He goes at least 7 for the 11th time this year. 4th time in a row, and he's done it. 6 of his last 7 starts.
The stud. Seven to nothing Nationals as we head to the top of the 8th inning. And it's just been home run after home run here tonight at Citi Field. It's time for your T-Mobile game changer. I'm part of Team T-Mobile, but Bryce Harper starts this one up. In the 2nd inning, you remember the walk-off home run to end it against the Mets at home. And now his first at-bat in New York, the Big Apple. The city that never sleeps. Bryce Harper gets the Nats on the board 2-0 and gets the jump shot festival going in the Nats dugout as well.
Harper, Ramos, Taylor, top of the 8th inning. Here's Buddy Carlisle resurrecting his career and doing quite well for the Mets.
Lots of fastballs. He'll sink it, cut it. 4-seam fastball in the low 90s, upper 80s.
11 games recently, 0.63 the ERA. In 14 innings, a run on 7 hits. 12 Ks, 3 walks. Bryce Harper, 1 for 3 tonight. So's Ramos. And then a very potent number 8 hitter waiting in the wings. Harper hits one hard to right. It's a 2-for-4 night for Bryce Harper.
Well, get him hot in September and forget about it, as they say here in New York.
Yeah, but how do they say?
Forget about it. That was very good.
Nice try. There's Ramos 1 for 3 with the base hit last time. There he is. Ramos hits it hard, base hit to left. Michael Taylor will bat with 2 men aboard. And he's been aboard twice. Got to touch them all last time up. Inside the numbers with Jeep on Michael Taylor. 4th National. Brandon Watson, Ian Desmond, Tommy Malone.
Yeah, remember that?
That was something else 3 years ago.
Hit one of the Nats bullpen. So he got a fastball in, got his hands inside of it, base it up the middle off the mound. Got what looked like a cutter away, took it out to right. If you're the Mets right now, what are you trying? Off speed? And that's the feeling out process for a rookie. You got to find the holes.
Hits it hard, but it's right at Flores. And a 6-4-3. Harper to third with 2 down. He's hit the ball hard 3 out of 4 times.
Yeah, a lot to like about what we've seen from Michael Taylor here in Game 1 as a big leaguer. A lot. Don't forget about the throw he made from down the corner either. They got a hanger, hit it right on the screws. Another good swing, 6-4-3. But that's okay.
And that's it for Doug Fister, who's at 107 pitches as Scott Hairston bats for him. And they know all about Scott here in New York, what he can do. 7 homers, 24 RBIs. 2011 here. 20 home runs. Then next year with 57 batted in. He wore out left-handers. Buddy Carlisle digging in there. He did a little work on the mound in the infield between innings. And Scott on 2-0, attacking a high fastball. Not able to get to it. Mercedes-Benz will track it upstairs. Scott had a good rip. It's above us to our right. They're trying to make it 19 out of 22 and 25 out of 29. And look at the differential in runs. Just a little bit up and away. Counts full.
You know, tonight's 7-0, and that record is amazing. There's been a lot of close games here. They're not all like tonight. Like I said earlier, they won 13 of the last 16 one-run games in this series. So there's been some tight ones.
Well, great news from Atlanta. The Dodgers have picked up a run. 9th inning, 4-2 there. 8th inning, all Nats, 7-0 here in New York. DC Lottery. The DC Lottery presents the Friday Fun Concert Series at the Fairgrounds. 2 hours pre and post game each Friday. It's fun to play the DC Lottery. And by The Expendables 3. Hang on for one last ride in theaters August 15th. Randy Knorr pointing for a home run. Bryce Harper knew he got it. That got the Nats off to a 2-0 start. Back in the second, they haven't looked back. Rain pelting down here as Ross Detweiler takes the mound for the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, fastball in the low to mid 90s. Curveball is a breaky ball, an occasional split, occasional change.
Following on the heels of another brilliant outing by Doug Fister, didn't walk anybody. 3 strikeouts. They were all early. No runs on 7 hits in 7 innings. Murphy, Wright, and Duda. So Ross faces 2 lefties here with David Wright in between.
You know, in our 2 a.m. haze the other night during that late start, Craig Stammen was the sneaky hero in that game.
Yeah, he was. Got the win.
And we talked about all the clutch hits, but he came in out of the bullpen and just did a tremendous job to keep that game right where it was and give the Nats a chance to win.
Actually, Clippard got the win. Craig Stammen. And this bullpen just so consistent, so good all year. Inside out swing. That's why Daniel Murphy's hitting .300. He came in 0 for 2, 2 opposite field hits in the 6th and the 8th innings.
Well, you can watch Daniel Murphy get hits to left field all day, but you can also check out some RBI baseball. It's back. 30 major league teams with 2014 players. Get the Retro 2 button style baseball game you've been missing. Visit RBI/game.com for more details and download today on your console or mobile device.
David Wright hit the ball hard twice. Once caught by Span. Last time a liner off the glove of Rendon. Base hit.
You can download it on your Atari.
Me?
Play Pong.
Wright gashes one up the middle. 3 innings in a row the Mets put hits back to back. And now Ross is going to have to go to work against Lucas Duda.
Right back up the middle. Look out at home. It's coming right at you. See that inside out rotation. Nice swing by the Mets third baseman.
Duda 1 for 3. He pinned Bryce Harper up against a left field wall last time. As we reach the 10 o'clock hour here, bottom of the 8th inning. All Nationals tonight. Harper early home run. They've hit 3 more to lead 7-0. 7 shutout innings by Doug Fister. And now Detweiler hits Duda, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. Lucas Duda's not real happy. Fastball got away.
Well, he's just not happy with being hit. There's no way that Ross wanted to hit him. They went by 7 runs. So there's no reason. The fastball got away. I didn't feel great, but bases loaded, nobody out.
Off the hands. Here's Travis d'Arnaud, right-handed hitting catcher.
Try and locate that 2-seamer, get a ground ball, trade a run for a double play.
Fly ball to center. Span coming in. Murphy, the runner at third, not going anywhere.
Denard was throwing to third all the way. You could see the way he was setting up for that fly ball. And down by 7 runs, you have to be sure at third base, but you could tell by the way outfielders setting up where the throw goes. So if you're Murphy on third base, you could kind of cruise down the line right there, 3-4 steps, see the throw going in third, just keep rolling. Denard was set up straight to third base. You see him kind of peek at Murphy, but he was going to third all the way, you could tell.
One out. Here's Matt Dendecker.
Not a big deal in the big scheme of things, but you can get your buddy an RBI and save yourself an at-bat right there.
Eric Campbell now for Dendecker. They go righty versus lefty here. The rookie Campbell hitting .300. He's been a good pinch hitter, 7 for 17, 3 batted in. Just a little low with the heater ball, too. Pretty well hit. Span will get it, and Murphy will score this time. 2 runners move up. It's a 7-1 game. 2 outs in the 8th. And some Bronx cheers in Flushing. Juan Lagares will be next.
Give Flushing cheers in the Bronx.
Yeah, they're much more sarcastic up there.
He's ready. He's fired up. Scored a run. He's got his mitt. Might have been one of those kids who got eating cotton candy earlier. He's still wired. I like it.
Here's Juan Lagares and a step off by Detweiler. Looking at the runner at first. At the knees.
Probably bottom of the zone-ish. Yep.
Fly ball left center. Bryce Harper measuring it. Russ Detweiler battles back to get the last 3 hitters in a hurry. One more thing to check off the list tonight. A base hit for Span. A time on base. We'll see. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. And by University of Maryland, University College. That's the George Washington Bridge over the mighty Hudson, connecting the Bronx and New Jersey. 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Nats, Mets again. Jordan Zimmerman, the Nationals are 14-9 in his 23 starts this year, trying to win his 8th decision. Hopefully, Desmond goes deep against Bartolo Colon. He's won 3 of his last 4. Bartolo Colon, one of the winningest active pitchers in baseball with an even 200 wins. 6:30 Nats Extra. AT NYN from the booth at Citi Field, 7 o'clock straight up. Eric Campbell stays in to play left. New pitcher, lefty Dana Evelyn for the Mets.
Fastball slider change, fastball 90.
Denard Span in a lefty-lefty matchup here.
Now, this is it, right? Last at bat for Span, unless there's a huge move of the line. Have to be about a 13-1 game for him to get back up.
Denard goes up hacking. On base 36 games in a row. Second longest streak in baseball this year. And a 14-game hitting streak with 24 knocks. With the breaking ball there. Longest streak on base this year. Jose Bautista. That's really something for a slugger like him to make 37. He must have walked a lot during that time.
We had a lot of balls in the seats.
He does that too. So Span's the only one of those that are still active in terms of the streak.
Such a thing as drama in a 7-1 game. Here it is.
And the 0-2 outside. David Wright way off the bag at third, about 30 feet, in case there's a breaking ball away. He goes with the heater and gets Span on a one-hopper, and a wonderful streak of hitting by Denard Span, and reaching base has finally been stopped. Over a month of getting on base every single game.
Unbelievable. I just wish it would have ended at home so that he could have got the standing ovation he deserved. But Anthony Rendon with some high fives, a little slap. Randy Knorr with a high five.
Hey, Nats fans, I got one for you.
Rick Shue all congratulating Denard Span on the streak.
How about his first time up Friday night?
That is really cool. Good stuff right there. Look at that. So it's telling you a lot, folks, right there. I think that's the standing ovation I was talking about. And that one probably means just as much as the one the Nats fans are doing at home.
That one stays outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good night for Cabrera, 3 for 4. In the air. Out to right center. Curtis Granderson looked at the wall and the fence for a moment. Made the grab, 2 outs.
I just don't think a lot of people realize the focus and concentration that goes into something that Denard Span just accomplished. You can't take any at-bats off. You can't take any nights off. Guys that grind and play every single day, you'll have those days where you take a game off within the game, where you're not as mentally focused and not as mentally sharp as you should be because you're just beat down. And for over a month now, Denard Span has focused, locked it in every single at-bat, including tonight. You know, that line out to Lucas Duda was the difference, where he dropped it and turned the double play. But yeah, that's such a mental grind, and it's such a responsibility as a leadoff hitter. And, you know, all those other guys we showed the on-base streak, those are power hitters. That's great. They're on base. It's great. That's Denard Span's #1 job, to get on base. That's what he's paid to do. And for him to have that kind of streak, I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, if you're at home right now, give him a standing O. And he just tipped his cap to you.
Anthony Rendon 1 for 4 with a home run.
Those other guys.
By the way, it's over in Atlanta. Dodgers 4, Braves 2. Nats could lead by 5.
Wow.
When they go back to the hotel tonight.
Wow.
That would be the most this season. By the way, the Braves will be playing tomorrow night to stay above 500. Two-1. And Rendon to third. David Wright picks it up. Off the bag with the throw, the tag by Lucas Duda. The Nats go 1-2-3 for only the second time tonight. What a night for the offense. 4 homers, 7-1 lead. Was loud. We like the sound, especially when it's at the ballpark. And as we go bottom 9 with Ross Detweiler trying to put an end to this one, more on Denard Span and what he just accomplished.
Well, when you look at the company that he has right here, all these other guys are power hitters. Even Carlos Gomez, you know, he's a guy that swings a lot. And those guys get on base, A, because they hit the ball in the ballpark, and B, that pitchers are trying to avoid them. They're trying to get them to chase their pitch. The difference with Denard Span, his job is just to get on base. So pitchers, their #1 job against Denard Span is to throw him strikes, to keep him off base. He's a leadoff guy that can change an inning. For me, that streak's even more impressive when you think about that. My #1 goal as a pitcher is to keep you, Denard Span, off base. The other guys, it's to keep the ball in the park, so they're trying to get him to fish, they're trying to nibble. That's why that's so special. And like I said, Nats fans appreciate it. His teammates, as you saw, definitely know how much work he put into that.
Bottom of the 9th, Wilmer Flores 2 for 3. Ross Detweiler still out there. Eric Young Jr. on deck. Then the top of the order with Curtis Granderson. Well, Miami, this is interesting. They win their game tonight. They will be 1 game behind the Braves when they take the field tomorrow night. They've beaten St. Louis 2 days in a row. Braves have lost to the Dodgers 2 games in a row, and the Nats taking care of their business here tonight. 3 outs to get. 1-1 to Flores, and it's upstairs.
And everybody says that Denard Span's streak is directly related to when Bryce Harper made his comments in his locker.
I think there was a certain report in a certain game that got Denard fired up, and that's what I equate his streak to.
Rendon battles that ball. He's got the gun to finish it off. And a ball that was absolutely gashed by Wilmer Flores.
Nice job of staying with it. Wet balls skip on you, so there's that little layer of water on the grass, and it has a tendency just to kind of shoot on you. See it skip on Anthony Rendon. Got there a click faster, but with the cannon in his back pocket, comes right over the top and throws a bullet. Watch it just get on him a little quick. No panic. I mean, the two guys at the corner, LaRoche and Rendon, like I say, they don't even know what panic is.
Eric Young Jr., switch hitter. 1 for 5 from the right side. Pinch hitting this year. And Ross Detweiler got some momentum when he got those 3 consecutive outs. After loading them up in the 8th, Mets only got 1 run out of that. And he's cruising right now. That's right at Denard's span. 2 outs. Let's update the standings. We're feeling pretty good about it right now. But you can add a half game on to the Atlanta deficit to go to 5, the Miami to go to 6, and a full game on the Mets to go to 8.5. Jordan Zimmerman tomorrow night, and then Steven Strasburg Thursday night.
Might be bananas, and I think it's been well established at AM, but I'm going back to that 7-6 loss, the first game in Atlanta, if this turns out the way everybody thinks it should.
When they made the comeback?
Yeah.
Changed the mindset?
It just did. It just, as a former player, even though they lost 2 out of 3 of the Braves, whatever, it's irrelevant. They showed that fight, came back in that game, and you know what could have been a 7-0 holy cow, we're deer in the headlights with our head in our hands in our locker for 20 minutes lost, turned into a just, hey, way to go, you guys, way to battle. Even though there's no more victories at the highest level, that night might have been the exception of the rule. We'll see what happens, but in my mind, you know, in 2012 we circled the Red Sox series and the Blue Jays series, right. That road trip when they went 6-0. That was the turning point. That's when the rest of baseball said, uh-oh, look out, the Nats are for real. Well, maybe not the same effect of this from a national standpoint, I mean, from everybody else looking at this team, but in my opinion, as a former player, that was a huge game.
Anthony Rendon looking up into the rain. Ian Desmond. Nats waiting to get this one over with.
A lot like that Jason Worth foul ball that he hit down the line before he went off in July. It wasn't a hit. It didn't mean anything in the stats, but it was something that made him click along those lines.
2-2 pitch. Granderson lays off. He's 0 for 4 tonight. Detweiler, 1 shake, and here we go with the payoff pitch. Popped up, left side, Rendon looking at it, waiting. The Nats are still unbeaten at Citi Field this year. What a night for the offense, for Doug Fister, for Michael Taylor. A decisive 7-1 win over the Mets, and the actual playing time of the game was 2 hours and 56 minutes. With that 25-minute rain delay.
But did everything right. Doug Fister did his thing, but congratulations to Michael Taylor. His first start as a major leaguer, his first step on big league soil. He gets a base hit and his first home run. And was very, very impressive. And of all the things that happened tonight, that's the most exciting for me.
Absolutely. And for the Nats, a 5-game lead in the East for FP and Dan. Bob Carpenter, 7-1 Washington. Tomorrow night, Jordan Zimmerman goes against Bartolo Colon. Coverage begins at 6:30, Nats Extra. This has been a Masson presentation. Stay tuned. Johnny and Ray straight ahead with Nats Extra postgame. And from rainy New York, see you later.